Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Or good night, good morning, good afternoon. Always, all of those times, everywhere in the world, somewhere in the world. So, hello and welcome if you are joining us today for a wonderful race. And as you can see, I'm a little bit unprepared because I forgot to update the HUD. Yep, there you go. A little bit more information. I think it's a bit neater information. It's not necessarily more. There's some things that are hidden. But regardless, there you go. I've got the timings on. There you go. Alright. As you can see, a little bit scuffed today and a different voice. Or maybe familiar if you have been watching the BCSS 3 casts that we used to do. This is the first time you're hearing me. My name is Findict in the community, otherwise known as Jesse. I used to race in this series and I decided I didn't want to anymore. So today we're doing broadcasting instead of that. Good timing as well, because Philip couldn't make it today, unfortunately. So well, you're gonna have to deal with me. And I don't think his co-commentator could make it either. So Jamie Shaw makes a little bit of a mistake there. Let's have a look with someone that we trust to. There you go. Trust to maybe finish their lap. I think Diego is a capable man. Around Kilami, as I quickly move around my keyboard, as I like to do for these kind of events. But yeah, I hope you're all doing well. Just started already into qualifying. Fortunately, had some issues. One of the drivers wasn't properly signed up through no fault of his own. The fault lies entirely with... Let's see if we can find the poor sod. Matteo Schmidt. Teammate. Matteo is actually, right now, the championship leader. Harry Spears won the first two races quite dominantly. Maybe as we expect from him. But he didn't turn up for the last race, which was a team event. And as it happens, those team events count towards your championship. Everyone that participated was signed up in that race gets the points. And, well, Matteo, I think, had to do it alone. 3 hours on his own. Not the only one to do it, for sure, but he did do that. He didn't win the race. I believe he ended third. But that was enough to secure first place. I quickly want to double check a couple of things. There's a lot to double check, to be fair. But first, I want to have a quick look at the championship standings. Because I don't know everything. Yeah, Matteo finished 6th in the first race in Germany. I believe it was Nürburgring. Well, I know because I drove there. It was awful. And finished 3rd in the next two races, which is very solid consistency. 2nd in the championship, though. Let's see if the man... Yeah, the man is faster. Nipam Shah. Nipam got 5th, 4th, and 5th. Hasn't seen a podium yet, but because of very good consistency, actually 2nd in the championship. Man who needs no introduction. Currently leading the pack. I don't have all the skins installed, I just realized. We may do a quick restart for that in a moment. It's between qualifying and the race. Hopefully that should not be a problem. Yeah, there's Harry Spears. Currently won the first two races and didn't turn up the last one. So could be a lot better, but that's where he is. 4th in the championship, 4th in the race, or qualifying so far. Oscar Saristo. 7th in the first race, 9th in the second race, and won the last race with his teammate Ben Norton, who's currently 6th place, because that win does count for a lot. Not as much as consistency, though, which is why he is only 4th. Gap is not big, though. 15 points, and you get 100 when you win, so, you know, a lot in it. Not a lot in it. Excuse me. Then in 5th place... Yeah, there we have him. Actually, currently 11th, so maybe he hasn't set the lap he wanted. But Andrei Postnyakov from Ukraine 2nd in the first race, 10th in Hungary, but 7th in Japan. Maybe the first race was a bit of a fluke. Maybe it wasn't. We'll see today. Currently 11th, hopefully he's able to improve. 5th currently in this session though. Andre Katz, my teammate, who I've left behind to talk about racing instead. There he is in the BMW M4 car. It's a bit of a... It's a bit interesting, because if you haven't played this game before, or don't know much about it, all these cars function a little bit differently. Now, the BMW M4 is generally known to be a good car, but it is, by default, a little bit understeery, maybe? Ways you could tune it out, but it is a very good in raw performance regardless. Your driving style suits it, you are very happy in this thing. If that's not the case, you're gonna struggle a little bit. I haven't done the thing I needed to do to fix the whatchamacallit. To fix the liveries. I'm going to quickly do that. Hopefully we can have a few more. I don't think I may not have all. Hopefully it should be enough. We've got a team sync. It's a little program and it makes everything so much easier in terms of downloading all the liveries, because these are all made custom, or a lot of them, not all of them. A lot of them are made custom by the drivers themselves or by someone they know. Maybe they paid someone if they are too rich for their own good. Regardless. It would be a shame if I couldn't show them today, so I'm gonna try and fix that for everyone, and hopefully that will happen without any issues. Let's quickly go through the list though, while I've been waffling about all kinds of unimportant things. Harry Spears still leading the pack and currently also on track, but the gap has shrunk. Fastest lap is a 140.6, the next guy is a 140.8, 8, sorry. I believe that's James de Havelander. De Havelander? I don't know how you pronounce that. Don't know where he's from. I think he's British. Don't know off the top of my head. Currently seconds, but small gap, 2/10. I think you'll be very happy with that. That's the kind of gap you want to see towards Harry Spears. Oscar Saristo still in third. Felix Chef, actually Nipam in third now. Well done, Nipam. Currently just set a 141.175. You will be happy with that. Saristo has been demoted to fourth then, and Felix Chef currently fifth. And I believe a small mistake there. A bit of maybe a place where you don't quite expect it, but regardless, Oscar reset to the pits. Harry continues his lap. Small improvement already in his timings. Currently visible. We're looking at a 1/10 improvement, but he is pushing that Porsche. So it's not a surprise that he is quick. This will be one of the last laps of the session, because qualifying has already come to a close. It is a very, very quick session in the sprint weekends. So do a quick grid rundown after I reset the server, and hopefully the liveries will be loaded in then. I will have about 5 minutes to do it. I hope. I'll check the timer first. If I have 5 minutes, then I'll do it. And if not, then I'm very sorry to some people. I had fewer liveries than I thought. Felix Chef actually just parks the car as Harry comes across the line and improves. The 140.4 it is now, extending the lead to James de Havilland, but Nipam is still driving and he is set to improve. Comes across the line. Is it going to be enough? It is not going to be enough. Still 7/10 short of taking pole position, and the frustration sent into the wall then. But Diego is far off. Diego's currently 8th, and that's not where he wants to be, but he is currently on a banging improvement. 3/10 in it for him, out of the last corner. What is it going to be? 6th place for Diego. He moves within a second of Harry Spears, and just a little bit short of beating Oscar Saristo ahead of him. So he's going to have to settle P6. We can return to garage and you see like a map, and this is what the drivers will see. There's a couple of options there for them, but see the completely serious and professional chat on the side. It was all in a little bit of good fun. This is, I mean, it is racing. It is technically a competition, but that's about all we can say about it. It's primarily a friendly competition, and we would absolutely love to keep it that way. 19 people today. I think we've seen really big grids, but 19 is a little bit lower than we're used to. Got 5 minutes to reset the game, so let me really quickly switch over to the whole scene, and I'm going to hopefully be able to restart the game before we start. I am on a time limit, but I mean 5 minutes later. I'm gonna make it, right? What could possibly go wrong? I hope this will go wrong. Anyway, so quickly restarting. Everything should be downloaded. If it is, good. If it's not, we continue. Currently waiting for the game to start, but that should not take 5 minutes. But it does take a little longer than I was hoping. I'm sweating a little bit here. We are doing all this for deliveries that drivers or I don't know, maybe their parents worked really hard on. There you go. The game has accepted the request to restart. So my screens do a little bit of a flash to indicate that they are still awake. So we continue from there. Also, I realize, and so it always gets a little bit warm in our room these days because summer, being from Europe these days, it gets quite warm in summer. My room isn't exactly the best with cooling. Yes, I have now been informed that we would not be able to see through Frubo or Harry Spears' livery, regardless. And worse than that, I can't. Oh no, there you go. Can I find the server? And I have to join as a LAN. I'm afraid. Thankfully, it is in my house, so I can still join regardless of what happens. There you go. We've got our HUD. We are going to fix that HUD in just a moment, so bear with us. And, well, actually, you can't see it yet, but now you can. There you go. All right. 2 minutes to spare. I was never worried. Frankly, never worried. But we should be able to see a couple more liveries now. And that's what it was all to do for. Grid rundown then. I'm going to get the full names of everyone, so don't mispronounce anything possibly whatsoever. First, we have Harry Spears in P1, where he belongs, it seems. In that beautiful, not liveried Porsche. He had an update, but he forgot to send it. James de Havelander is right next to him in the Audi, followed by Nipham, his teammate, in the Audi. And then we've got Felix Chef also in the Audi. Oscar Saristo, another orange car in P5, followed by Diego in his trusty old livery and in a Porsche. Behind that, Andre Katz, my teammate, in P7. We'll be happy with that. Championship leader Matteo Schmidt currently in P8. Maybe not quite where he wants to be if he wants to defend the top position, which is going to be incredibly hard to do anyway, because Harry Spears is back today. Sammy Cal in the black and yellow liveried car behind Andre, it would be. Ben Norton is teammate of someone, I forgot. It's a teammate of was it? I don't know. I forgot. I can absolutely look it up, and that's exactly what I will do. Because let's see, Ben Norton. Yeah, of course, Oscar Soristo was his teammate, and they won the 3 hours of Suzuka together. Currently in P10. Pavlo Polovchuk is in P11 in the BMW, followed by Ryan Curtis in P12. Victor Gayan in P13. Andriy Potnyakov in P14. Reese Corbin, the cursed man, P15. Followed by Michael Vavier in P16. Jamie Shaw in P17. Then we've got Dale Jackson and Kevin Unda in 18th and 19th. I think the teammates. And they round off the grid together. They are both in the same car, the AMR V8. Couple cylinders short for Donuts' pleasure, I guess. But there you go. I've just been told something I didn't quite expect, so hopefully I will hear it from that pretty soon. But yes, all the drivers have now taken off, but this is not racing yet. They are doing a formation lap. Harry leads the way and decides to pace. I don't think that's actually accurate. I think the game decides to pace. There's a virtual little box that all the drivers should drive within, but generally you will not see them do that. You can see right behind Harry Spears somebody accelerating and then braking a little bit just to warm up the brakes and get the tires to a good pressure. And that way the car will react as good as possible from the start of the race. It won't take too much to get it to full race speed. Let's have a look a little bit further down. See if everybody is behaving. Sammy Cal, you see, appears to be behaving. Takes a little bit of curb there. Of course, not necessary, but it can be nice to see like what it allows you. It appears that Ben Norton almost caused a very embarrassing and humongous crash, but collisions are off in the formation lap, so there was no risk of anything going wrong. Unless somebody hits the grass and then spins out into the wall. Always a possibility. Looking a bit further forward here, looking at Flickchef and Oscar. I believe it's Oscar Soristo, the other one? Maybe I'm looking at Nipam. No, that is Oscar in the orange car. And now you see all the cars come together. Even some overshooting where they should be. They have been going single file up until this point, but now in the last sector, every car is requested to start driving double file, and that is what you are seeing now. The pack gets bunched up, and that way we have a much more exciting start, rather than if everybody was going to go single file. They all still have to maintain a position, and I think after the last corner, they will be asked to stick to a speed. In order to make it as fair as possible. The speed is 70 kilometers an hour. You stick as close to that as possible. It is a speed limit. You're not supposed to go over it. At some point, they will all start driving a very constant speed in their position. Hopefully, they have a good position then. Let's follow the leader then into turn 1. But first, the lights must go green. And there you go. A very good start from the people on the second row, and Harry Spears maybe not so good is immediately being challenged by de Havilland and Nippam, but he is on the inside. He has a good position. I think de Havilland will let it go, but he follows through, and Nippam unfortunately concedes a position there, I believe, to Felix Chef, who is, but he stays on the inside. Nippam keeps his position, and actually there's Diego. Diego also now challenging a position of Felix Chef. Diego has already jumped Saristo there. And I believe we also see Matteo, the purple liveried car, has also made a couple of positions. Oh, Diego looking on the inside there. A dive. Indeed, he is side by side, and he is still side by side. Hasn't quite cleared him. Into the next corner is going to be tricky, though. And there we see Diego does indeed take that position. Very well done. Already up to P4, and we're not even done with the first lap. And Oscar Sarista also challenging Felix Chef, who hasn't had the best of starts. Felix Chef is still looking at taking that position back from Diego, though. He has a bit of a position, but Diego is simply too quick out of that corner. So there's no way he's ever going to challenge for that. But I do believe... Oh, actually, he is on the inside there. Let's have a quick look on the helicam, because there's nothing you can see on the other cam. But Diego does keep a position, simply has a better line. And there we go. Behind that, we do see Matteo and Andre having a bit of a battle. That's the green and purple car there. Followed immediately by Ben Norton and Victor Gayan. They're having a little bit of a ding-dong battle. But Matteo goes a little bit wide there. Andre has the much better exit, so there's nothing into that for the next turn. And yeah, let's have a look at what is happening here. Oscar extremely close to Felix Chef, who is being properly bullied here, which is not what we want to see for his mental health. But you won't have those issues if you are simply quicker. That is just rude. Trying his best, of course, but Saristo is really putting on a lot of pressure, and he's doing that super well. There's also, of course, a chance that when a driver makes a couple of mistakes, ooh, and there he makes another one, but it's not consequential. Maybe that's a track limit warning, though, so that's something he has to watch out for. You can get 3, and the next one will be a drive-through penalty. You have to be careful with those. Andre Katz has also caught up to this battle, and so has Matteo Smith, and actually it's a train all the way down to Victor Gayan, who is followed by Michael Favier in P11, who has done an excellent job from the start. As Andre has a look around the outside, but it's simply not going to happen there around the hairpin. Let's I feel like the views in this game are maybe not as brilliant. Feels a bit zoomed in, so I can't see much. Oh, but there we see in the mirror, though, Matteo looking on the inside to go helicam. Andre has to go a little bit wide there in order to not force a collision. And Chef makes a mistake, and that is Oscar Saristo up to P5. And Chef is probably having a terrible exit there. Let's keep an eye on that. As Michael Favier has made a mistake and is currently standing on the road in a direction, pointing in a direction you do not expect him to. Also concedes another position there. But quickly back to the action then. Andre Katz has just reached the end of the start-finish straight. It is a very, very long straight, so I had the time. And unfortunately, no move for him quite yet. Was held up by Chef, just taking the ideal line there. And with how Andre set up his car, that was the only line he was ever going to be able to drive. There's a really interesting pack headed by, well, I would say Chef, but Oscar is also within the second of that. He probably has a little bit more pace, so he will probably start to run away, as Felix Chef has to hold on for dear life on this, what is it, 6th position. But Andre is quick, and Andre is ready to strike. And any opportunity that is presented to him. But unfortunately for him, that opportunity is not coming right now. He is late on the brakes, though. Not too late. No collisions here. The racing continues. Looking for further forwards, it has to be mentioned that James de Havilland has really kept up with Harry Spears in the opening 5 minutes of the race. And this, of course, a sprint race, so that is a significant portion of the full race. Doing a good job. Nipam Shah also behind there. Maybe made a couple of mistakes. As Polovshu, ooh, that is a slide. Saw yellow flags for him, but just a slide out, no bigger issues. And I think Postnyakov may have had bigger issues there. Through the grass near a wall, takes out a braking marker. Drivers will not be satisfied with that, but they don't know he did it. So what are they going to do? So you see Ben Norton also very close to Matthäus Schmidt, who has probably been held up by the drivers ahead a little bit. And now facing considerable pressure from Ben Norton from Antivirus Racing, which is absolutely a funny joke that I only just got. But he has had a bit of a shocking exit there. And Victor Gayan is on his tail. He is almost side by side. Around the outside of this corner is not going to happen though. But he will have a better setup. He's going to come out with more speed here. Or he's not. It's not enough. It's not enough regardless. So Victor Gayan has to unfortunately settle for P10 for now, but Ben Norton is still there and he is still vulnerable. He's not going anywhere. Further back, I see Jamie Shaw under putting up a lot of pressure actually on Jackson ahead of him. Jamie Shaw in the purple-pink liveried car of Wild Things Racing. If you are into the A to C scene, you may have heard that name before. But it's currently behind a suspiciously Ukrainian car, being yellow and blue, but he loses touch a little bit. Ryan Curtis, though, is also doing a little bit of battling, looks around the outside, maybe a switch back into the inside, battling Postnyakov, who I think is like top 5 in the championship right now, so good going on Ryan there, keeping up the battle, but he does go wide. Must be a bit of pressure there from the cameras. And unfortunately, because of that, misjudges that braking zone a little bit and lets Postnyakov get away for now. But he does have pretty good speed down the straight. He is faster currently. So maybe there's an opportunity. Maybe looking right. He goes left on the inside. Maybe he dives. And he has a position there. Does he hold on to it? And he does. Ryan Curtis with a brilliant move into turn 1 has taken that position. And is maintaining it as people are starting to get a couple of penalties here and there for conduct earlier in the race. I think those are incidents that we have missed. But one of those people, Pavlo Polovchuk, is currently challenging a position from Dale Jackson and has gained it. There we go, Polovchuk. Despite his 10-second penalty, which is damning in sprint races, I should say. Despite that, he is still in P14. But if we add up the penalties, he drops back to like 17th. So he needs to pick up the pace. We'll hope that other people have bad luck, because 10 seconds is a lot. 10 seconds is a whole lot. And let's see, up and down the field, actually, I see a lot of packs have spread out a little bit. Andrei Katz still close behind his targets, Felix Chef, who, as I recall, has been bullied a little bit. I think he started P4, currently dropped back to P6. Only 2 positions. But that is not what you want to have happen. There is only one stint, so there's no next stint to make it better. No strategy calls that can shift things into your favor. It is pure raw sprint racing, as we see. I think Dale Jackson there just got overtaken by Sammy Cal. Must have been a really quick move, because they weren't close a moment ago. Excellent move as we see Polovchuk. Look on the inside of Jamie Shaw there. If he brakes later, he will likely have that position. He brakes about the same time. He adjusts a little bit and he overtakes. There you go. Polovchuk overtakes Jamie Shaw there and takes P13. And every position here today is points. That is significant for the championship. We have no people dropped out yet. No people have lost connection. Still 19 drivers as we had from the start. As we see, a yellow flag. It says for Ryan Curtis, but I don't see it. I simply do not see it. De Havilland then still very close, actually, if we look for Bonnet. That is Harry Spears, the leader of this race. Quickest man in biscuit, very likely. De Havilland is keeping up. He is very close. Maybe even has the pace over him. Actually, in terms of fastest laps, these two have also a little bit of a battle going. And Harry's pace is currently the faster one. As you can see in the top left of the screen, his number 1 is purple. That doesn't mean he's first. That means he has the fastest lap of the race. The Havelander is not far behind, 8 thousandths of a second. That is the gap for fastest lap. A little bit bigger on track. Fortunately, that's just how it's going to be. A better view has Matteo Schmidt on Andre Katz. Right in his gearbox, looks on the inside. We've seen a lot of moves down here, and Matteo adds another one to the pile, but maybe a little bit deep. Andre tries for a switchback, but it's not going to happen. The car isn't quite maneuverable enough to really get it there. Not at that speed anyway. So Matteo Schmidt takes that position and keeps it, but he's not clear from the pressure of Andre. Although, if he does have the pace, that will change very soon. Havelander still 0.5 seconds behind Harry. I'm suspecting that he is trying to keep the tyres in a good window so that at the end of the race he will have an opportunity to strike. Here we are watching Michael Favier trying to negotiate Kevin Unda. I believe he was also with Kevin fighting with him at the end of the last race. Of course, Favier having to drive that alone, the race at Japan. After a couple of laps, he did go to the pits. He did not retire, and he drove back out at the end and finished the race. But so far down that the stewards deemed it illegal. Didn't get any points for it, but we acknowledge the finish. Hashtag Faffy did finish. He first has to try and overtake Kevin Unda. A bit of a mistake early in the race, and that costs him greatly. It's always better to make a mistake at the beginning, though, than at the end. At least from the start, you can still fight. If it's at the end of the race and you make a big mistake, drop to last, you are finishing last. Simple as that. Not necessarily the case here, though. It also feels a lot better, because now at least you have, like, something to do, something to drive for. You still got something to make up. It's at the end of the race, you have made your mistake, and you have to suffer with it in the results. Good exit though from Michael Favier, as he follows closely in the slipstream of Kevin Unda. Will this be enough though? He's still quite a ways behind. Kevin Unda covers off the inside, makes Faffy go around the outside, as we something like to call him, and it's not going to be enough. It is not. Kevin Unda holds on to that position. Ahead of them, also a little battle going on with Unda's teammate Jackson, who, as we see, a yellow flag. Oh, that is Polovchuk, and that is a crash. Surely, that is a crash from Polovchuk. Let's see if we can go back in time a little bit and see what happens. I fear we cannot. Now, I fear we cannot see it because he did retire from the race almost immediately. So unfortunately, Polovchuk had a crash and retired immediately. We can unfortunately not see it. So we're gonna have to... It's currently on a replay. No, the replay is already over. There you go. Polovchuk unfortunately retired after having a big crash. So we remain with 17. So somebody else also retired. I do not currently see who that is. Checking if Ryan is still in there. He is. Ooh, and there... Oh, is that... No, that is Jackson making a bit of a mistake. Sorry, we're looking at Sammy Cal and Dale Jackson. And that is enough for Sammy Cal to go around the outside. What a wonderful move there. And a better exit to boot. And Jackson is left with nothing. A P15 is still a decent result at least. And a decent amount of points. We'll be happy with that. But Sammy Cal does have a decent pace and will likely try to run away. Possibly succeed. Oscar Saristo then, currently in P5, and we're watching him because he's actually not that far away from Diego Fimbres-Casas. Diego Paul Fimbres-Casas. He will shoot me if I don't say his full name, I think. Currently on board with him. Currently in P5, doing a good job. Of course, one of the winners of the last race, if my memory exists, I guess. It wasn't very long since I checked. But yes, Aristo did win the last race. P4 in the championship, nothing to sneeze at. P4 in the race today, that will be good. Better than P5 for sure. It's going to keep fighting for that. Decent exit, maybe a little bit wide, and Diego actually has decent speed, despite the fact that it looks a little bit compromised. It did jerk all the way back to the left, but it seems to be enough for now. And I don't think it's enough for Aristo to make a challenge into turn 1. And he does not. But I think Diego went a little bit wide there. Let's have a look at the helicam. It is a little bit closer. Still not enough, though. Not enough to make a move. The chef is close behind. Probably catching these two up a little bit as Diego has to worry just a little bit about Oscar behind him. Oscar is doing a good job, though. Keeping up the pressure. Ahead of that is Nipam Shah, who's in a world of his own. P3, podium. Very good. 6 seconds ahead of Diego behind him. Also 3.7 seconds behind the next car ahead. He's doing his own race. Can't blame the man. And we hope he's having fun doing it. Mr. Corbin then. Reese. Has the curse been lifted and is he able to overtake Jamie Shaw? I think my answer will come quite quickly. I think Jamie just made a massive mistake. Oh, but so did Reese. And it's completely equal into the next corner. Normally you don't go side by side in here. And actually Jamie Shaw just decides that he doesn't want to crash today. And concedes that position to Reese. Currently P12. Excellent job from Mr. Weeble, as we like to call him. Oh, and that is a disaster, ladies and gentlemen. Diego has just made a mistake. Let's quickly look at what was going on there. Let's look on the bonnet cam. Maybe it was a little bit shaky already. We do have a battle here. This was a little bit ago. Diego and Oscar were on the same part of the track. So was there a collision? Let's have a look into the next corner, which is Greg's informally. Formerly it's Cheetah, I believe. Oh, he went on the grass, destabilized the car, and he took himself out, unfortunately. Ooh, that is very unfortunate. He keeps racing with a little bit of damage. There's no point pitting because there's not enough time to make up all the time you lose. As I say that, Kevin Hunter is currently in the pits. He might have retired. I do not know. But Diego Paul does then drop back to 6th place with a damaged car. Going to be very difficult to maintain that 6th place for another 12 minutes. But it is possible. I've seen people defend with damaged cars. It can be very annoying. Kilami is a place where there are opportunities. And if his straight line speed... Oh, actually his cornering speed is very compromised. So Matteo Smith, maybe in a place where he normally wouldn't do it. Around the outside of the hairpin, maybe. Oh, he is early on the brakes, though. Diego covers it off for now. Andre Katz gets very, very close. Let's have a quick look from Andre's bonnet then. What is he seeing? He sees a Matteo looking on the inside of Diego. Diego very, very slow right now because of all that damage. But he has a brilliant switch back there. Actually challenging into Cheetah. He is ahead for the most part. He is ahead completely. Oh, but he's on the grass again. Ooh, don't want a repeat of last lap, but he keeps the car stable this time. Andre looking around the outside of Matteo, but Matteo is having none of it, shoves him a little bit wide, but it is a fair game. So do see, Ryan Curtis is not facing the right way. What happened there? Is Cheetah taking another prisoner? Let's have a quick look. 15 seconds in the past, taking the corner. Missed the apex a little bit. Ooh, I hit him just enough, I think, to destabilize the car. That is a weird one and very unforgiving. At least on the grass, you have a couple of seconds to do some inputs that may or may not save the car. That seemed like a slide. Still a driver error regardless. And Matteo Schmidt actually has also dropped a couple of places. What happened there then? Oh, he was ahead of Andre. Looks around the outside of Diego. The replays are a bit buggy. Ooh, and there's contact. Diego and Matteo have made contact. And that is very costly for Matteo because he's very, very close to a couple of other cars. So, losing a couple of positions there, and the stewards will likely have a look at that, but I'm not sure if that's worthy of a penalty. But, they will have a look at that, they will decide, and there will be, oh no. I don't think it might matter, because I think Matteo just retired. Unfortunately, another mistake right after that little collision with Diego sends him into the wall, and he decides to retire the car. Funnily enough, the game does show him as my program shows him as P1 because he gets teleported forwards into the pits. Yeah, Ryan Curtis has to concede a position, I believe, is what we're looking at. Is that what we're looking at? Well, hang on. Let me look at my... Yes, that is Jamie Shaw right ahead of him. But he's trying to fight back, but his car is incredibly damaged. He's not going to defend that. And there are some strong words being exchanged in chat. If you are listening, I would request people to be respectful to each other. Sammy Kell trying to run away a little bit. Victor has gained a position because Matteo is in the pits and he just overtook the pits. Diego also in the pits. I think he is also retired. So they are having a proper argy-bargy in the pit lane. Proper Michael Schumacher running after David Coulthard. It is very unfortunate what happened, but that's just how it is sometimes. And just like that, I think the only real battle we have here is for the lead. James de Havelander, currently within a second of Harry Spears, and the only one that is really able to challenge anyone. I say that as Sammy Cowell is catching up to Jamie Shaw very, very rapidly. So we'll jump to him in a moment. But de Havelander doing a good job. Still keeping up with Harry. It's been 22 minutes, so surely we are nearing a moment where you're gonna have to say do or die. You're gonna have to try something. Make a move on the inside, outside, through Harry. We'll have to see what he decides to do. I don't think the time has come for him yet. Just a little bit more time. Just waiting it out. We'll have to jump to Sammy Cal, who has properly caught up. And we'll also look at a battle that's a little bit behind that. Because while we have Sammy Cal here, Ryan Curtis is behind him. 6 seconds. And Dale Jackson, Canadian, is very close to overtaking him. And I can't see this last very long. Because Ryan does have a little bit of damage after that error around Cheetah. And, well, he still has a little bit of fight in him. And I know how defensive Ryan can be, even with damage. There you go, Dale Jackson makes it look easy. Hits that apex, but it may be a little bit too optimistically, too early of an apex. Ryan has a look for a switchback, but his car simply isn't up for it today. And, yeah, there you go. Dale Jackson to P12. Right ahead of that, Sammy Cowell still challenging for a position. Jamie Shaw not far ahead. We can see him right there. And so can Sammy. This is the view from the bonnet of the car. Not where the driver sits, fortunately for him. It will be a little bit windy. It's a very nice run, but touching those curbs is a little bit scary there. Some people refer to it as a spoon curve. I don't know what it's called. A very beautiful curve anyway. One of the highlights of Kyalami Circuit. Through the hairpin then. Sammy definitely has the legs on Jamie, but he will have to find a good opportunity to overtake. I'm not convinced that this is it, as Ben Norton, ooh, something happened there. I switched to the wrong person. Let's have a quick look at what happened there. We're on Helicam then. I believe we have another incident at Cheetah then. This is the corner before that. Nothing wrong here yet, and we are going to see yet another unfortunate incident. Misses the apex by a lot, and you can see on the grass, destabilizes the car, overcorrects once, twice, and 3 times into the wall. Not entirely accurate, but it did. I don't know. It felt good to say it. So very unfortunate for him, but the race continues, and I think he's still driving. Sammy Cowell then. Currently in P11, looking at P10. Top 10 finish would be good for him. But he is currently 7th in the championship. 19th in the first race, maybe a bit of an off one for him, but 7th in Hungary, 4th in Japan, and today, maybe a top 10 finish again. Will be good for him. Unfortunately, Jamie Short is maybe just a little bit too quick for an easy overtake, and he is starting to run out of time. Less than 5 minutes left in this race. But depending on when the lead driver crosses the start-finish straight, there may be quite a bit of time added to that, up to 1 minute and 40 seconds, roughly. See some frustration going on in the drivers' chat. People are, well, not necessarily unhappy with the sprint format, but the disadvantage, of course, is that if you do make a mistake, then you don't have much time to recover from that. It's not as painful as making a mistake in the last stint of your endurance race, the last 10 minutes or something, that could cost you several positions. As Ryan Curtis apparently causes another yellow flag, but I missed it. I don't see how you could ever get a yellow flag there, so props to him. That is impressive. As I was saying, in sprint race, if you make a mistake, you don't have much time to make it up. You can't just say, okay, I'm just going to put my head down, get in the rhythm, and do a couple of good laps, because by the time you catch up to anyone, most of the time, the race is over. Favier, for instance, made... Ooh, and as we see, speaking of mistakes, Jamie Shaw there, I was looking down a little bit, but there you go. Makes a mistake and slides out. That gives Sami Cal P10. Alright, just checking chat a little bit, but it is a very good and calm discussion. Of course, the drivers, while initially, of course, a little bit frustrated, you do work towards this race. I'm certain that probably more than half the people that raced here today spent more than the race time doing preparations, practice, setup, you name it, just to get the car right. There's also 20 minutes of practice before this, and you, of course, qualify, which is already a sort of time investment, definitely a sort of investment. So losing that to an unfortunate incident, even if it's, or maybe even especially if it's nobody's fault, that is just painful. It's hard to deal with. But it is helpful to... That's not... We're doing Kyalami in reverse today because Dale Jackson is facing the wrong way. What happened there then? Let's have a look. Have a quick look there. We'll come back to the battle for the lead that is still waiting to happen. Maybe the Havilland is just happy with being second, but I don't think Jackson is happy with Cheetah because on the grass, there you go. Ooh, keeps it out of the wall. That is impressive. I'm genuinely impressed at that. It's one of those things, you know, once that happens, it's so easy to just, but he decided, I'm not going to stick it into the wall. I'm not sure what he's doing there. Maybe celebrate the fact that he has no damage from that. But yeah, there you go. The Havilland are now getting very close, and it's going to have to be a battle, because this is the last lap. We are looking at the last lap of the race, because there's no way these guys can set a 120. James de Havelander then looking at the back of Harry Spears. This is the last lap. He's going to have to make it happen. And keep in mind that while Harry may have led the first 17 laps, it's only the last lap that counts. He's on the grass. Maybe a little bit of a loss of speed, but it's not enough for James to make a move, especially not into this corner where there's one line anyway. Maybe, missed the apex. A bit scruffy on exit there for Harry Spears. Small mistakes, and the Havelander looks stable enough from this camera position. So maybe there's something in it for him. Maybe the tyres are just in a better position for him. And here we go. Left and right. Get on the power as early as you can. That's how you can make inroads on the car ahead. But you can also see there's a back marker who I think will not be an issue. Although he did brake on the grass, which is not what you want to do there. The Havelander is remaining close, but this is not where you want to be. You want to be ahead, because the overtake opportunities here, it is the last corner. That's about it. You're not gonna make it happen anywhere else, or maybe here. No, it's simply too far away. It's not going to happen. But he is setting himself up. He is getting closer, and Harry actually has to worry a little bit maybe about dirty air from the car ahead. He is a professional. He is not scared. No twitching whatsoever. Covers off the inside there. And it's just a perfect race from start to finish. Harry Spears takes the win. Followed immediately by James de Havelander in P2. What a brilliant race. James de Havelander does take fastest lap with that. And Nipam rounds off the podium with a brilliant P3 finish. James de Havelander with a 140.9 as his fastest lap. Very good to see. Oscar Saristo takes home P4 and Felix Schiff is 5th. Behind that, Andre Katz comes home comfortably in 6th. Victor is 8 seconds back. So there you go. A nice 6th place finish. And Victor coming around the last corner, taking home 7th place. Ben very close behind that in 8th place. And Rhys Corbin, the man who is cursed, come around Cheetah into the last corner. I mean, I was going to comment on the exit, but who cares at this point? He is guaranteed a 9th place position. There's nobody behind him. As long as you don't crash, it's all right. And we do see some teammates battling here. It's a little bit funny. Micah Favier overtakes Ryan Curtis, who is in the mud with a lot of damage. Anyway, Sammy Cow, P10. Very well done from him. Jamie Shaw, who had to concede that 10th position with a slide earlier, takes home the 11th place position anyway. It's Michael Favier after taking care of his teammate. It's fraternicide in South Africa. He will be taking home the 12th place unless Ryan, I don't know, has some magic spell at this point. There's not much you can do at this point. Engines will not break down. This is not real life. There you go, Favier 12th. Michael did finish today. Jackson 14th and Ryan 13th in between them. And we had Unda taking home P15. The not finishers are Diego and Mateo, who came together in turn 1, and after that had maybe a bit of frustration. Forced them to make another error. Polovchuk, with a 10 seconds penalty, decided not to take it by simply retiring. And Postnyakov also retired early on in the race after taking a lot of damage. There you go. All right, I will try to see if I can get a couple of people for an interview. Yeah, and we're going to see if we can arrange an interview with the top 3 drivers. That is Harry Spears, James de Havelander, and Nipam Shah. Fortunately, Fruo or Harry Spears will not be joining us today. He does not have a microphone. But we can see from the chat that he was very satisfied with the race with James. And that is always good to see. So it's maybe a bit competitive and people crash and break their cars and their hearts in the process. Always a little bit painful, frustrating, but life goes on, and the end, as long as people have fun, most important thing. I'm not getting. Oh, actually, maybe we can have James. Hopefully we can have James for an interview. He did reply, yes, and there you go. I am joined here by our second place finisher and holder of the fastest lap, James de Havelander. How are you doing?
Him, to be honest, and made it stick.
Okay, so wait, hang on. I'm gonna have to apologize really quick to the people that were watching because I have you can laugh at me for this. I have uh absolutely shouted at Deck for last time when we were doing the Formula One races in Amos 2. He was broadcasting it, and the engine sounds were completely off for the first half of the race, and I had to go at them for that. I did mute my desktop audio, so there was no engine sounds for the entire race, and they didn't hear the first thing of what you said because I realized halfway through what you were saying. But can you please repeat how that was for the people at home?
Yeah, it was a good race. Harry was just rapid. I think I had pace to keep with him, but it's just one of those where you're staring at the back of someone's car going, even if I got past, I'm fairly sure I'd have just sailed wide on the apex trying to outbrake him. The Porsche's pretty good on the brakes, and he was tidy. But it was a fun race, and it was nice not to be 12 seconds or whatever it is behind him for a change, so that was always better.
Yeah, it was very nice and exciting to see. The last lap we did follow with you, right behind Harry, and Harry did seem to look a little bit vulnerable in places. Maybe a couple of slides, maybe not quite enough for a move, but you kept the pressure on quite well. Do you think that maybe there was a move in the race somewhere where you decided not to take it, or was there just no opportunity?
Yeah, it was about halfway in. He completely missed. You've got sunset, and then you've got the left after it when you come down, and then you've got the left right sweep. I can't remember what corners they are, like 7 and 8, something like that.
There's the
Completely missed
hairpin on the top of the hill. What you thought
just
about?
before the hairpin, yeah.
Ah,
He
yeah, okay.
completely missed the sweep, and I got right up on the back of him, and I just didn't factor in dirty air, and had to completely get out the power again because I was about to go straight into the gravel myself. And
Oh,
given how bad his run was, I think I'd have gone clean past him before we'd got to the hairpin if I'd have not gone always wide, and instead of thinking for a second, just smashing the power on in the hopes I'd get past, and then just immediately sending myself out wide as well. Um, I think if I'd have gotten in there, it might have been possible to defend because the Audi's got, I think, better top end than the Porsche. But yeah, it's an aero reliant car, or at least I had it a bit twitchy on the setup, so I was struggling in dirty air through the sweep, and then he'd punch so well off the hairpin afterwards that you just sort of you catch him too late by the last corner, and then again Porsche punches out the last corner and never quite got a run. I think if I was smarter, I'd have found a way through, but got a bit excitable the one or two times he had a wobble worth trying to send a move, and I got myself sideways as well.
yeah. So it was a very tough one there to keep up. But I think the pressure was on both of you, and a couple of mistakes were made. Maybe one opportunity to get past, and maybe you're kicking yourself a little bit for not taking advantage of it. But a good race is a good race, and even if there's no overtakes between the two of you, it was very exciting to see you guys go toe to toe. So thank you very much for that. One more thing though, this format, we're seeing some people having had issues, crashed out, and maybe some people aren't very happy with the sprint format. But how is it for you?
I really enjoy it. We do quite a bit of like the endurance stuff, Nipam, and a few of the other guys I race with VRM. We've done like Sim Grid and RCI, and it's just nice to do 30-minute races. I think I don't know what it's like further back. I've done every race I've been in. I've basically been watching Harry pull away. This time I wasn't watching him pull away, but we were gapping the field. Um, I think people struggle with sprints because realistically, you qualify where your pace is roughly. You're probably going to make one or two passes. Like I really enjoyed that race, and I finished zero point 0.2 of a second behind the guy I started about zero point 0.2 of a second behind. So nothing happened, but it was fun. I think in sprints, everyone goes for the move, and you sit and go. Unfortunately, if you qualify 15th, 13th, or 12th is probably as well as you're going to do in 30 minutes. And Kyalami's not the easiest track to pass on. Um, but I think I really enjoy sprint racing. I it's nice not to have to worry about tyre wear because you've only got half a stint. think people just get a bit too punchy and imagine they can do a last to first challenge, and then it all goes a bit Pete Tong halfway through as a result.
Yeah, of course. And if people do make a mistake, there's no strategy elements to give you another shot. So it's a different kind of racing. But I'm happy that you're having fun with it. I hope that other people also had the same experience.
Yeah,
All right.
it's 30 minutes qualifying laps, basically. What more could you want?
Yeah. Yeah, probably something like that. Maybe a little bit of tire wear here and there, but not enough to matter. Anyway, thank you so much for joining. That finishes off this interview, and I briefly forgot Nipam was third, but I haven't heard back from him, I believe.
And tell him to join if you want. We're in the same voice channel.
Oh yeah, please do. Just tell him to go to race room 2 if he wants an interview, and I'll wait here for like 2 minutes. If he's not there by then we end it off.
Oh, cheers.
That was James de Havelander, P2, right behind Harry Spears, who unfortunately doesn't have a microphone today, so is not able to join us. Also, sincerest apologies for not having the engine sounds on. Of course, it is very typical to do that, to, tell someone else off for something, and then immediately, at the first possible opportunity, do the same exact thing yourself. But those things happen, unfortunately. It was, regardless, a very good race, and I hope that despite the lack of engine noises, you had fun watching it. I do not see Nepam yet. Told them to go to a specific race room. I think we're about ready to sign it off, so that is what I'm going to do. If you have been watching, thank you very much. If you enjoyed it, despite the lack of engine noises, feel free to drop us a follow. If you are watching this on YouTube, don't forget to comment, to like, subscribe, hit that bell, donate your firstborn, and say a good prayer for us if you are into that sort of thing. Yes, thank you very much for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.